Good morning. It's 8:55. I am awake. Well, I woke up at like 8:25, a little bit earlier than I wanted to, because I woke up originally and Nola came up and said hello, and then my mind started running about work yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, there was that one order that I placed on top of the thing, and I told Asia where it was, so I want to make sure that they didn't put it away. And then I was like, Jordan, what's done is done. Like, just go to sleep. But I could not. I was too awake. Anyway, turns out I got a text from my neighbor at like 2:40 in the morning saying, thanks for letting us know. We just let her in. She's good. That's great. I believe it was 2:40 in the morning. Anyway, I think I've decided, so since I'm not meeting Kelly today, I don't have anywhere to go, which is fine, especially because Monday now it's looking like is gonna be interesting. So yes. Yeah. I was gonna say something else, but I forgot. Oh, I think I'm gonna make muffins. I should take a shower because my hair is gross, but I am debating if I want to wash it this morning or tonight. Fun fact, yep, there it is. I knew it was gonna show up. I just burned myself on the oven. Good times, friends, good times. So it's such a beautiful day. I'm just sitting here reading my book, and I was like, wow, it's so pretty outside. Maybe I'll go sit outside and read. And then I realized that the one thing, though, about it being, turning into spring again, finally having this nice weather, is that all the bugs come out. So I looked outside, and I was like, yeah, never mind. I was like, we're not doing that. I was like, there are way too many bugs. Nope. Well, it seems I may have potentially made a dire mistake, because I now have an invasion of some sort of insect. So I'm spraying my insecticide stuff, which does kill them on contact, as it says it does. But I think they were coming through the screens. So I just have had a ton in my house that I've been killing. I don't know what they are. I've sent some photos to my parents. Anyway, I don't like having to spray this stuff because it makes me cough and sneeze, but here we are. So after doing some research, they might be flying ants, but not necessarily the type of ants that bite or sting, just flying ants. Because that's the thing. It scared me at first because I thought I was looking stuff up and it was like termites. And I was like, termites? I was like, why the heck would termites be inside my house? And then the more I looked at it, I was like, no, those are brown. These are black. Same sort of colored wings, but no. But this spray that I have does specifically list that it kills flying ants, which would also make sense why I sprayed it on them and they immediately perished. But it also says too that flying ants, usually it's just for a few hours to a few days that they'll kind of swarm. After I've sprayed that around my windows and around my door, thankfully I have not seen any more. So I'm trying to see if I see them outside. Yeah, I do still see them outside. Not as many though. Ooh, there's wasps outside though. Yikes. I gotta keep an eye on that. Okay, good news, that we have not had another infestation of the bugs. Yay. In other news, this burn is looking, those are the other two from the past. That's how this one's looking. So be careful around stoves and ovens. I'm not a good example. As well, I know this whole vlog is really just me talking, but Fridays are the days. Now I don't have anything. So it's like 2 something. I don't have anything to do. There is like an extra, anyway, I finished reading the trilogy. I felt like after the first book, the pacing was very off. I felt the second book was way longer than it needed to be. Then again, that could be because, once again, then it went basically 80% romance, 20% other aspect of the story. But then that meant that when we got to this one, which just so happens to be that most of the romance aspect for a lot of it is actually taken away due to things that I won't, spoil, is taken away. So you really are focused more on the science fiction fantasy part of things again, which is great, except then I just felt like in 470 pages, there was so much information that was just shoved at you. And I was like, you could have spaced that out so much better by also including some of this stuff in the second book and not focusing as much. Like, I just felt like this was like, oh crap, it's the last book in the series and I really have to like get all of this across. Not like, it just felt very rushed information wise. Throughout all three of the books, I did really enjoy the characters. The writing style was great. I loved I think this might be one I make one of my TikTok videos about. I haven't made one of those in a while, so we might do that. I do have the like tag along book that's called, what is it? It's the Noah Shaw one. And so I don't know if I'm going to read that. I'm going to look at how long it is. But I am going to message that girl from church who saw me read the first one and offer them to her, because I don't plan on keeping them. And if she wants them, I would rather them go straight to her rather than me list them on paperback swap. So I just received in an email the lineup for like my sides for the days that I work. And I noticed that I was only sent 3. And I was like, that's funny. I thought I was filming 4 days. But then I remembered that yesterday on the meeting, I was told that one of the scenes that I was going to shoot, which was a very small scene, just like a news report scene, we were going to do as a voiceover instead. And so I was like, okay, cool, I can totally do that. And now I realize that now I don't, and I emailed them to double check, but instead of being needed on days 3, 4, 6, and 7 of production, I think I'm just needed 4, 6, and 7. Which means that I can fly out Tuesday night instead of Monday night, which would be wonderful. Also, on a completely other note, I don't know why, but my anxiety is weirdly spiking, so we're gonna take our natural supplement to try and combat it. I don't know why this is happening, but it scares me when this happens, which makes the anxiety worse. So we are just gonna the theanine. Let's drop it everywhere. Theanine, it's my go-to. It's wonderful. And I remind myself to never be ashamed for needing to take one. Never. Never. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I don't know what made me anxious. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If you need it, you take it. I'm really struggling with hoping I'm not sounding like the difficult actor, but at the same time, having been on the production side of things for many, many years of my life. Basically, long story short, I got a response from the director who said, yeah, we don't have you filming on that day. However, we would still like you available and we'll pay you for that day regardless. And I said, no, actually, you're not paying me for that day regardless, because my contract states you're only paying me for 3 days to total that amount of money. And if I film on a 4th day, you're not paying me. So you're not paying me regardless. If you were paying this one, I didn't put this part in the email, but I was like, if you were paying me regardless, I would be happy, more than happy to be there. But I just tried to be honest and tell them, like, is there any possible way before we start filming or before you guys start filming that you'll know if you will need me that day or not? Just because if not, I cannot lose a day of pay working. And that would be great. That would, make up. But if you are willing to pay me $100 regardless, then it'll be as if I'm not losing a day of pay. And that'll be totally fine. So I hate having to be that person. But I know that if I was in their shoes, and I know everyone's different, but I know if I was in their shoes, I would understand why those questions were being asked. And I would understand. I'd be like, yeah, I don't want you to lose a day of pay if you don't need it. Even if it was that someone was driving to Atlanta to here to film, I'd be like, I don't want you to have to, waste the gas on driving 2 hours back and forth if it turns out you're not needed. Like, no, I don't want you to do that. So if there is any way that we can let you know, we will.
So, because I don't understand, because that day, that would be the only scene I would have been shooting, or would be shooting. There is no other scene that would be needed on that day. So I'm confused and I'm kind of frustrated, and I hate feeling like I am what's causing difficulty, but at the same time, I don't want to just sit back and be like, no, it's fine, when I'm like, no, I have questions. Update, I have been offered an extra $100 for the project to just be in town on that day, which I have accepted. But then I also just filmed the little voiceover segments and sent those over.
I am watching the pilot of the Tomorrow People because I was looking for something to watch and I had it on my list. I am 15 minutes into this pilot and it's awful. It's terrible. So I am gonna say no and I'm gonna take it off my list. Yeah, I switched to Are You Afraid of the Dark? The 2019 one where they did like 3 43-minute episodes. I remember watching the first one, and I watched it because Mia Check was in it, and she was in The Darkest Minds, and I support her in everything she does pretty much. But all 3 of them are on Netflix, so I was like, now's a perfect time to watch these. So I just watched all those episodes. I gotta say, for Netflix, I mean, what? Sorry? For Nickelodeon, it's on Netflix now, but for Nickelodeon, scary. Like, I mean, you know, but like, yeah, that's like, they did a really good job with that. I think they cast it perfectly. I love Mia Check, and Jeremy Ray Taylor, who are the 2 that I knew from the cast, but the others were great too. They just did an overall great job casting, which I love to see, and it was written really well. I found like they did a good job with like the teenage, you know, banter, but didn't do it too much. They didn't do like, you know, cringeworthy stuff. Anyway, but I'm gonna go to bed. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. All my social media is in the description. Love you all.